Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. This is a great way to help out the channel, but a lot of you have been asking for another way to help out the channel, and today it's finally live. In the description is a new link. Finally, you can buy me a coffee if you'd like to. A lot of you guys have been asking for this, so it's live, like I said, in the description. Additionally, the link to my merchandise is also in the description, so go ahead and get yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie if that's what you're looking for as well. With all of that out of the way, let's see what we got today. We are live.
Teeth can heal, and they should not be deteriorating. And if they do have a little decay, they have the ability to heal themselves, as every other body tissue does. So why aren't they healing? Maybe they haven't been given the right times, or they have not been given the right conditions. If you don't drink adequate water, that saliva does not have the ability to bathe, soothe, nourish, and heal. So we need to be sure that our internal and external fluids are of the top quality to allow our teeth to heal. The internal fluid would be your blood and your lymph. And remember what the lymph does, it sweeps away waste from the tissues. And remember what the blood does, it comes along with the nutrition, it comes along with the oxygen, it comes along with the water, the white blood cells. This internal fluid is bathing from the inside. And your external fluid is your saliva. Their quality is totally dependent on fresh air, sunshine, not taking anything in that will harm it, going to bed early, exercising every day, having a nourishing diet. But something else this is causing teeth to deteriorate, and that is food caught between the teeth. As one dentist said, only floss the teeth that you want to keep. Well, when food is caught between the teeth, it basically starts to rot. So what happens then is what causes it to rot is in that moist environment, you've got so many microbes in your mouth, they're coming along to clean it up. And as the bacteria and the yeast start to break down that food between the teeth, they give off a waste. And that waste has the ability to start eating away at the enamel on the teeth. So make sure after every meal you rinse your mouth. Rinse your mouth very well. You can rinse it with seawater. You can rinse it with a mixture of sodium bicarbonate water and floss those teeth. Keep them clean, especially before you go to sleep at night, because by morning, wow, those microorganisms have had a party in there.
Yeah, especially as a meat eater, I have no choice. Gotta floss.
This is how to get rid of cavities and clean out your mouth. Frankincense gum is more effective than anything else I've ever found so far. Go ahead and grab a handful, slowly chew it, and eventually it's going to turn into a gum. Now this resin is super antibacterial. It's going to clean out your mouth, probably better than coconut oil. You can literally just chew this all day long. This frankincense tree sap gum, it's like $7 a bag. Totally worth it. You can combine this with gargling salt, and it's going to clean out your teeth very well. And get you some distilled. And you do this every day. You can do it a couple times a day. It's really up to you, but you're going to find that using these natural elements, they're way more effective than pretty much any toothbrush, any kind of coconut oil, anything like that. It's just the best. And it helps you with just being able to chew something. It helps to get rid of appetite. It's also why we ended up making y'all the Bible Health book.
Yeah, frankincense for your teeth? Absolutely.
What's some weird things people don't know about teeth?
I think one of the things people really don't know about teeth is that they can be healed. People don't realize that teeth are constantly in a state of demineralization or remineralization. They're either losing minerals or gaining minerals, and they're not in some steady state. When we get cavities, it's because we've had too much demineralization. We've continued to lose minerals without replacing them. If you keep the pH of your mouth neutral or better, the saliva will redeposit minerals. My favorite tool to help with that's Epic Gum, because it's loaded with xylitol. Xylitol's sweet, so it naturally stimulates the saliva flow, so you get those minerals going, but it's also great because it gets rid of cavity-causing bacteria.
How much xylitol should I ingest daily?
You want to chew 6 grams a day. That's what I really recommend. And then supplement with a toothpaste that has xylitol, like Epic. When you put that xylitol in there, it's just one more opportunity to get after that cavity-causing bacteria.
So that's what a dentist will tell you.
Here's how you can remineralize your teeth and enamel. First, it helps to understand what those minerals are. Your bones are mostly made of a matrix between collagen and a crystal called hydroxyapatite. That's your mineral that you want to remineralize, since the tooth's enamel is made up of 97% of this mineral. Conventional dentistry will tell you fluoride's the best way to remineralize your teeth. Neurotoxin. Fluorosis. Hydroxyapatite toothpaste to the rescue. There was actually a study done a couple of years ago that tested fluoride toothpaste against hydroxyapatite. Top row is control group and patient group for a small dose of fluoride. Middle row is control group and patient group for triple the dose of fluoride. Bottom row shows control and patient groups of a small treatment of hydroxyapatite, basically showing that hydroxyapatite is the bomb diggity of dental treatment. Probably because it's the exact same crystal that your bones are made of. There's plenty of research on it if you like to read. Follow for more healing type stuff.
If you mix ground cloves, calcium carbonate, bentonite clay, and kaolin clay together, you will have made a tooth powder so strong it can actually remineralize your enamel in case you see early signs of a cavity.
Today we're going to talk about pearl powder and the benefits of this superfood. Pearl powder is very easy to use. You can add it to your smoothies, you can add it to your coffee, or you can add it to your toothpaste. It's a great source of calcium and magnesium for your teeth to help remineralize and strengthen your teeth and your bones and your hair and your skin and your nails. Studies have shown that pearl powder can help balance out your GABA levels and dopamine levels so that you can sleep better. There's some very interesting studies that talked about how pearl powder taken over an 8-week period can actually increase your glutathione levels by almost double. And I think this is very, very fascinating. So it is a very powerful superfood that was used in ancient times to heal the liver, heal the spleen, heal the kidneys, and then also brighten the eyes, right? We need food for the eyes, and the calcium and the magnesium and the selenium and all of the nutrients in pearl powder are great for healing the eyes and also regenerating the skin and connective tissue. So if you're looking for something that's great for inflammation, your eyes, your hair, your skin, your nails, or any of your connective tissues or bones, pearl powder would be great for you.
Yeah, there you go. From what I understand, this stuff is fantastic.
But there is something that we suggest our guests do, and as a rule, I usually do this every morning, and it's oil pulling. And that's putting a spoonful of coconut oil in your mouth and swishing. Swish for 10 seconds, rest for 10 seconds, swish for 10 seconds. The reason it's called oil pulling is for a few reasons. Number one, it pulls waste out of the tongue. Number two, it pulls waste out of the glands under the tongue. Number three, it pulls waste out of the blood vessels under the tongue. But there's two other areas that can pull waste, and that is the sinus. I've known people with sinus problems to oil pull, and when they're finished oil pulling, they said they blow their nose quite a bit. It seems to pull up a little bit further. And people with lung conditions, so they've got bronchitis, after they've oil pulled, they cough up a couple of lumps. How nice. I've known people to conquer gingivitis, that's infection of the gums, bleeding gums by oil pulling 2 or 3 times a day. It strengthens the gums, it helps to clean the teeth, because coconut, when it connects with your bacteria, releases antibacterial elements. So in the jar, the coconut oil is not antibacterial. But when it connects with even the bacteria in your skin, it becomes antibacterial in your mouth. Yes?
So that means you drink a glass of water first when
Yeah.
you get up, and then you do oil pulling.
Yeah, I usually do a few glasses of water, a little bit of salt, glass of water, then I usually do about 3 glasses of water, then I do my exercise, and when I come back I have another water, and then I oil pull while I prepare my breakfast. And that's the way to do it, is make an appointment with yourself as to where you're going to do it. It's like exercise. If you don't make an appointment, you'll never do it. You can do it later, you can do it later, you'll never do it.
But if the tongue is eliminating waste, drinking water first is not washing down the waste inside.
It doesn't matter if you do, because our gastrointestinal tract is a hollow tube. So if you wash it down there, it's just going to come out the other end.
But you do not swallow the oil.
No. No. Because oil in the stomach can start digestion, plus there's a fair bit of waste in that. And what you do, not down the plug hole, because you'll block up your plumbing, go and release it out on the grass. And the microorganisms that live in the soil will happily deal with it. And then you rinse your mouth a couple of times and let it out.
How would it affect the lungs, though, if you have it in your mouth? You mentioned
That's very interesting. How does it do that? But you test it yourself. Often when you whirlpool, you have a feeling to release. But what we've got to remember, our whole body's connected.
Yeah, I actually add cloves to the coconut oil before I do it.
These three guys figured out how to regrow teeth using frequency. The problem is, this was in 2006. It's 2024 now. Where's this technology? So they basically use something called low-intensity pulsed ultrasound, massages the gums to stimulate the jaws, and encourages growth in the roots of the teeth and aids healing in dental tissue. This guy claims if the root is broken, it can now be fixed, and because we can regrow the teeth root, a patient could have his own tooth rather than foreign objects in his mouth. Keep in mind, though, this would disrupt the industry of fillings, root canals, just about every damn near dental procedure that there is. The way they figured out this worked before they tried it on humans was that they did it on rabbits, which was published in the American Journal of Orthodontics. He then tested the technique on people who needed to get their teeth pulled. Participants held the bulky ultrasound device for 20 minutes a day for 4 weeks against a tooth that had a problem, such as erosion after a root canal. When he looked at the extracted teeth under the microscope, he found new tissue was added to the roots of the treated teeth, but not to the untreated ones. It's just interesting that we don't hear anything about this. It's been so long. I wonder if this is an example of suppressed technologies.
Yeah, we've touched on this one before. I just thought it was worth mentioning again.
And a lot of people I just saw were asking about pearl powder. Pearl powder is magical. I mean, I just put up that video about the Krista and her husband, who Krista basically bought pearl powder, started giving it to her husband, who is legally blind, this is mind-blowing, and he is starting to see again and see color and see all of these things. So it's remarkable how much the body can heal, and that's what we're not taught, right? We're not taught about all these things, about how fast the body can regenerate, because that goes against everything, this whole system. But with just using pearl powder capsules, he started to regain his eyesight. And then she was suffering from restless leg syndrome. She was suffering from brain fog, fatigue, a whole bunch of things, chronic inflammation. And she was using pearl powder, and it's fixed. And that's it. That's literally it. Like, it's that simple. Because I've started to realize that the body is just missing nutrients. And once we start to bring in the right nutrients, and food is on a vibration, right? That's another thing too. We're not taught about that when it comes to what we're eating, right? When I go to eat, for example, an apple, I'm eating a vibration. There's a frequency coming into my body, so that's another thing that goes hand in hand with sound healing and food, right? Each thing has vibration. So the right tones and the right frequencies can actually heal the body, just like the right frequencies off of food can do the exact same thing. And with the pearl powder, that's basically what's happening. The body's getting in these nutrients, selenium, magnesium, calcium, amino acids. It's boosting glutathione. It's boosting the body. It's starting to cause the body to repair. And it's also sending out a frequency when you eat it. And then that frequency starts to emanate in the body. So today we're going to talk about eyesight regeneration, because this is really important. Look at what Google wants to do. It wants to give you lab-grown eyeballs. I would like to go with a natural route instead of that. So one of the first things you can do to help your eyesight is eyesight exercises. This is why people get lazy eyes or astigmatism, because the eyes are not being trained. They become weak. If you don't use them, you lose them. You could also nourish and hydrate the eyes with castor oil and pearl powder. This will help support the hydration of the eyes. Think of all the people with dry eyes. The eyes are not hydrated anymore. You can also eat a little bit of pearl to bring that structured water back into the body. Next thing you can do is getting rid of Wi-Fi. Look at this. Radio frequency energy has been reported to cause eye effects, primarily cataracts, but also affect the retinas, cornea, and other parts of the eyes. Imagine that. All the smart devices they keep trying to sell people are messing with their eyes. Next, don't be like this guy. Toss those things because they're blocking the UV spectrums, which are very healing for the body. And eyes get weaker when you block all the UV rays. Windshields, glasses, contacts, sunglasses, they fall apart. So the next thing you can do is get rid of LEDs. Who would imagine that all the light bulbs that were saving energy, they tell us, are actually going to mess with our eyes? People should use incandescents or halogens instead. Last but not least, you can do some sun gazing or candle gazing. These are all natural remedies so that you don't need lab-grown eyeballs. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, 100%. Candle gazing actually works wonders.
We are on the brink of something fantastic, if it stays in the right hands. Australian scientists were able to take a fat cell and reprogram it into a new type of stem cell. It's called induced multipotent stem cells, or IMS, and it has the regenerative abilities like the normal ones. And the reason I say on the brink is because they have successfully tested it on mice, but it needs further research before they use it for human therapy. The scientists gave the fat cell a compound mixture that caused it to lose its original identity, becoming more chameleon-like, and it would follow cues to blend into tissue that needed healing. There are technologies that convert cells into stem cells like IPS, but it has restrictions on specific tissues and has a risk of tumors through direct injection. As per the UNSW article, their main priority is safety and to run through all the trials. But if this does get through, we can start cell therapy and repair various bodily issues that were either not treatable or difficult to treat.
Interesting.
When you eat a peach, you should eat the seed. But did you know if you eat the seeds to the fruit, you get a vitamin you don't normally get otherwise? There's a group of folks in Pakistan called the Hunzas. The Hunza tribe up there in the mountains, the Himalayas, when they were first discovered, the average age of the Hunza was reported to be 160. The more contact they had with the outside world, the more their lifespans dropped. Today their average age is about 90. One of the favorite foods among the Hunza tribe is the apricot seeds. They treat them like money. They'll buy and sell things with apricot seeds. They take the apricot seeds and squeeze them and get the oil out. The women put it on their face and it prevents them from wrinkling. They say the women look great for years. Average age of 90, and they never get cancer. Well, that's interesting.
That is interesting. I wonder what that nutrient could be.
The apricot has B17 in the seed. So B17 can actually be very beneficial for the body. And there's a lot of studies where the illness with a C has been resolved with an apricot seed because of the B17 that's inside the seed. So if you think about it, if you don't want to have seeds because they have enzymes and minerals and beautiful things in there which can heal an ailment, then you get rid of the seeds so that people can be more dependent on your system. Then people got to come back and get a couple more of these rather than eating the seed. Because if the apricot doesn't have the seed anymore, there's no more B17, which means there's no more of B17 to counter the illness. Somebody just said B17 for prostate issues. Yes, there's so many people with prostate issues, and if you think of a seed, the seeds look exactly like a prostate. So if you're not eating a seed, you're not feeding the prostate, or you're not feeding other parts of the body. And the seeds are where have all the minerals and all the nutrients. So if they're patenting them and tweaking them and reducing the mineral content, then you're losing out on that.
Yeah, it's worth considering. Couldn't hurt, right?
Within our lifetimes, it's possible that human beings are going to be able to regrow arms, regrow legs, even regrow new brains, and possibly be able to change the structure of your face and other parts of your body just with bioelectricity. The man leading this revolution is actually Michael Levin, who is a PhD at Tufts University right now. Some of Michael's greatest discoveries are actually based off this worm right here called a planarian. So essentially, if you chop this worm's head off, it will then grow a new head. If you chop the head off, you take it and put it to the side, that head will then grow a new tail. So there's actually a record for this as well. Researchers have been able to chop these little guys up into over 200 separate pieces, and they all grow back. They'll all grow back a new head and become their own new individual thing. Now, if that wasn't enough, Michael actually did something that no one else has ever been able to do. He actually cut one of these planarians in half and then made it grow two heads. This has never been done before. And here's the fascinating part. He didn't even change his genome. He used electrical signals to manipulate it to do this. So regeneration isn't just for lower level organisms either. For instance, deer can actually regenerate antlers. They can grow them back out. It's also found that human beings below the age of around 11 or 9 can actually regrow fingertips that have been chopped off. Not only that, your liver is capable of regenerating itself. So Michael's thinking is, why can't we figure out a way to regenerate limbs if we can tell them with bioelectric signals what to do? One of the greatest examples of this in the natural world is the salamander. As you can see here, This is the original salamander's arm, and then it was chopped off / amputated. And then over a 70-day period, it was able to regenerate itself, grow a new arm with new fingers. Now, Levin's work is also suggesting something else very profound, that the limbs and other tissues themselves may have memories or regenerative capabilities without the brain being involved. For instance, the caterpillar, which then becomes the moth or the butterfly through metamorphosis, actually liquefies a majority of its brain during that transition phase. It then puts its brain back together, and what scientists have found is that memories are able to transfer over after this liquefaction. Now, the last item I'm going to discuss, I actually wish I had a photo of it, but I don't. But one of Levin's assistants actually bathed the frog embryo in a voltage-sensitive dye, and guess what she saw? She saw a face, and she said that the face in this dye actually looked like a paint-by-numbers puzzle. Absolutely incredible, and the future's bright for bioelectricity.
Wild, man. Now that is wild shit. Wow.
Reversing aging is very easy to do. DNA is packaged in this chromatin, and when your cell needs to reach that chromatin, it loosens a bit. And part of the DNA breaks so that the cell can access those genes in the DNA. But if chromatin loosens near a break in the DNA, by mistake, a cell can access and activate the wrong genes. Now, your DNA is always breaking throughout all the cells in your body, millions of times per day. So over time, as your cells keep making error after error after error, it's like a broken record. It just stops playing correctly over time. Now, your body sends proteins to try to come and fix those mistakes in the DNA. But even that repair process over time, over enough breaks in the DNA, can get rusty after a while. It's like driving a car with really old oil. Now, the amazing part is that the scientist called David Sinclair did an experiment on mice. He took 2 mice that were twins, genetically identical. And one of those mice, he caused DNA breaks 3 times faster than what nature naturally does. And the other mouse's DNA was left alone. They found that when they kept doing the DNA breaks, the one mice, it aged 3 times faster than the other mice. It even developed blindness due to old age, when the other one was like young and healthy. But then David Sinclair took that one old mice and he reset the proteins that were displaced in the repair process. And he actually reversed the age of that mouse. The blindness went away. It could see again. Its muscles were rejuvenated. Its organs were rejuvenated. So the aging process can be reversed if you just repair the DNA structure. Now, we haven't tested this in humans yet. There's a lot of complications. But in the future, perhaps you'll go to the doctor every year or so to get your gene therapy done. In other words, you can basically stop yourself from aging. You don't have to age ever again, and you can reverse your age. You can go back to become younger. We've done it. We've literally done it in mice. Right now, there are a couple things you can do to slow down the aging process. It turns out when you eat a lot, it triggers the aging process. When you eat a lot of protein, it triggers the aging process. Exercise also slows down the aging process. So yeah, this is not science fiction, this is reality. You can fix DNA and stop yourself from aging.
Wow. So, there's that.
Know about alchemical sexual alchemy? Do you know that the story of Jesus, how it's been altered in certain ways? I mean, yes, there was a guy, yes, there was teachings, all that stuff. The parallel between that and alchemical sex is that there's 33 vertebrae in your spine. There's 33 years in the life of Jesus. Okay? There is a substance or liquid or a substance that comes from your medulla, which is basically completely looks like the Ark of the Covenant, has angel's wings around it, the whole thing. So this substance comes from your medulla, makes the trip down your spine to your sacrum, which is quick, get a dictionary. Christ coming down into human form. Yep. And if you don't squander that essence, that sexual essence, it ascends again and goes back up to heaven, which is your thing. It's also the story of Santa Claus. Why he comes down the chimney is because this juice or this whatever substance actually passes what's called the claustrum, which is where they got Santa Claus.
That's one theory. I just figured I'd throw that in there because it's the holidays. But yeah, some wild stuff in the field of regeneration. And you got to wonder, if this is what they're willing to show us, what are they not showing us? And we know these scientists like to play God, right? That's basically what they're into. But crazy stuff. So this episode was highly requested by a lot of you guys, especially around the teeth. So hopefully I did right by you and this is everything you were looking for. But this is everything that I got today. Like I said, go ahead, buy me a coffee if you want to. A lot of you have been requesting that as well. So like I said, link is in the description. Same with the merchandise. And I guess I'll be back with another one when I can. But until then, 80 Canadian, signing off.